I gave up my dreams so that I could sponsor you through university. How can you say I am not fit for your standard?
You are a local girl. You cannot even speak good English. You cannot fit into the future I'm aspiring to build.
I'm lost. I gave up my dream for love, and now I gained nothing. I have made a mistake.
This is the
I gave
story
up
of a
my
young
dream so
woman who
that I
gave
could
everything
sponsor
she
you
had to
through
build the man she
university.
loved,
How can you
only
say
to be
I am not
told she
fit
was
for your
never enough when he
standard?
finally succeeded.
I gave
But
up
what he
my
didn't
dream so
know
that I could
was that
sponsor
her
you through
story was far
university.
from over.
How
Stay
can
with
you
me
say I
till
am
the
not
end.
fit
You
for your
don't want to miss how
standard?
this ends. And if you love powerful stories like this, make sure you subscribe to Tales by Dima. There was once a young woman named Ada. She lived in Lagos, in a small room in Yaba, not far from where the buses never stop honking and the generators never stop running. She was neither rich nor powerful, but her heart, it was full, full of love, full of belief, full of dreams she believed would change her life. She loved a man. His name was Clement, a young man with big dreams, but had nothing in his pockets. Clement wanted education. He wanted success and a better life. But wanting is not just enough. Clement had been admitted to the University of Lagos to study engineering. It was a big achievement and a proud moment. But the school fees, the accommodation, the books, where would the money come from? His family had nothing. His mother sold oranges by the roadside in Oshodi. His father had died years before, leaving them with debt and prayers. Clement was going to defer. He was going to wait, to hope for a miracle that might never come. That's when Ada saw his struggle, and she made a choice. She put his future above her own. While other young women her age were filling forms for Polytechnic, filling forms for nursing school, filling forms for anything that could lift them up, Ada was waking up at 4 a.m. to go to Balagan Market. She sold clothes, women's wrappers, children's shoes, anything she could buy cheap and sell for a small profit. Morning to night, sun to rain, in the heat that made your head pound, in the traffic that made you want to cry. She was saving every naira she could. Her friends would see her in the market, her wrapper tied tight, her face shining with sweat, and they would shake their heads. Ada, why are you suffering like this? They would ask. You should be in school too. You should be thinking about your own future. She would smile, that soft smile of someone in love. He will make it, she would say. And when he does, we will get married and be fine for life. She believed it, every word. That boy will use you and throw you away like pure water sachet, her mother warned. He does not look like a man who will respect a woman who suffers for him. Mark my word. But Ada didn't listen. Love makes you deaf that way. Clement would call her at night, his voice tired, but hopeful. Ada, thank you, he would say. I won't forget you. When I finish this school, when I get a good job, I will marry you properly. We will have a big wedding. Everything. And she believed that too. Years passed. Slowly. Painfully. But they passed. Ada's hands became rough. Her back ached from carrying loads. Her feet knew every corner of Balagan Market, every shortcut through the traffic. But she kept going. Because Clement was in school. And that was enough. When Clement was in his final year, Ada's business was doing a bit better. She'd moved from selling on the street to renting a small shop. Nothing fancy, but it was hers. She even started thinking about her own future. Maybe after Clement graduated and got a job, she could go back to school. Maybe they could build something together. Then the day came. Clement graduated. It was a big day, proud day. The University of Lagos graduation ceremony at the sports complex. People gathered. Pictures were taken. Celebrations filled the air. Ada stood at the back of the crowd. Her clothes simple. Not the expensive asoabi that other people wore. Her hands rough from years of market work. But her face, it was shining. Because this victory felt like hers too. After all, she paid for it. She'd sent Clement money for his graduation gown, for his celebration, for everything. After the ceremony, she waited for him to come find her, to introduce her to his course mates, to say, "This is Ada, the woman who made this possible. But Clement was busy, surrounded by new friends, well-dressed people, people whose parents owned companies, people who spoke English that sounded different from the English Ada knew. "Clement!" she called out, pushing through the crowd. He turned and saw her, and something in his face changed. Something small at first, almost invisible. "Ada," he said, not warmly or kindly, just her name. "Congratulations," she said, smiling that same old smile. "I'm so proud of you." "Thank you," he said. Then he turned back to his friends, already moving away from her. Ada stood there, clearly confused. But she told herself it was just the excitement. The crowd. The moment. It would be fine. But something had changed. Something small at first. Almost invisible. Clement's calls became fewer. His tone colder. "Ada, I'm busy," he would say when she called. "I'm job hunting. I'm networking. I'll call you later." Later became never. Ada tried to be patient. She knew he was under pressure, looking for work, trying to make connections. But weeks became months, and the distance grew. One evening, Ada could not take it anymore. She closed her shop early, took a bus to Surlier where Clement was staying with his cousin, and went to see him. She went as the woman who stood behind his success. She found him at a restaurant, one of those new places in Acadia with air conditioning and waiters in uniform. He was sitting with people she didn't recognize. They were well-dressed, confident, and different. Ada walked up to the table and called his name. He looked up, and the expression on his face changed. It was not happiness. It was irritation. "Ada," he said, standing up quickly. "What are you doing here?" "I've been trying to reach you," she said softly, aware that his friends were watching. "We need to talk." He sighed, looked around, as if her presence was something to hide. And then he told her that place was not the right place for them to talk. But Ada stayed, because her heart was already breaking, and she needed answers. "Clement, what is happening?" she asked, her voice shaking now. "I stood by you. I gave everything. Don't shut me out like this." Clement's friends were already whispering, looking at her wrapper and slippers, looking at him in his new shirt and shoes. Clement's jaw tightened as he took her outside to talk. They went outside to the parking lot, away from the restaurant lights, away from the watching eyes. "Ada, what are you doing?" Clement said, his voice low and angry. "Coming to my business meetings dressed like that? Embarrassing me?" The words hit her like a slap. "Business meetings?" she said. "Clement, I just wanted to see you, to know what's happening with us." There was a silence for a moment, and then he laughed. A short, cold laugh. And then he said, "Ada, let's be honest. Those words, they carry danger." But he continued saying they were not on the same level anymore. Just at that point, the world stopped. "I have a future now," he continued. "I'm meeting people, important people. I have interviews with companies on the island. I'm building a career, a reputation." Ada's eyes filled with tears, but she did not look away. "I am part of that future," she said quickly. "I was there from the beginning. I made it possible." He cut her off. "No," he said, firm and final. "You were part of my past." Those words landed heavy and cruel. If you're feeling Ada's pain right now, if your heart is breaking for this woman who gave everything, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Comment and tell me, have you ever seen this happen to someone? Let's continue and see what happens next. Ada stepped closer. Her voice broke. "Please," she said, "don't do this. We planned this life together. You promised." "Yes," she begged. Right there, in a parking lot in Acadia. She held his hand, tightly, as if letting go would end everything. "I can grow," she said, the tears flowing now. "I can learn. I can go to school too. I can become better. Just don't leave me like this, please." Clement pulled his hand away, slowly and carefully, as if her touch no longer belonged to him. "Ada," he said, and his voice was so cold it didn't even sound like him anymore. You are not worth the life I am going into. Look at you. Market woman. Bush girl. I need someone who can speak proper English. Someone who can attend functions with me. Someone who fits. There was a silence. Ada could not help but feel pained. She stood there, frozen. The man she built had just destroyed her. I'm sorry, Clement said, not sounding sorry at all. But this is over. Move on with your life. And just like that, he walked back into the restaurant. Without looking back, Ada stood in that parking lot, alone, the Lagos night pressing down on her. And for a long time she could not move. She did not cry immediately. No, some pains are too deep for instant tears. She stood there, alone, and slowly the world began to speak. Her phone rang. She managed to check the screen and she saw that it was her mother. Ada, where are you? It's late. Ada couldn't answer. She just ended the call. She took a bus back to Yaba. The conductor shouting. The other passengers pushing. Lagos moving around her like it didn't care that her heart was broken. When she got home, her mother took one look at her face and knew everything that was wrong. He has abandoned you. Ada nodded. Her mother didn't say, I told you so. She just held her daughter while Ada finally cried. The next days were dark. The market women whispered. See her. She wasted her life on that boy. I told her. Didn't I tell her? Don't suffer for a man. Now look at her. No husband. No education. Nothing. The words followed Ada everywhere. In the market, even her own relatives shook their heads with pity. But Ada didn't allow those words to get to her too much. And so, she continued, one foot in front of the other, selling her wrappers, paying her bills, and surviving. Life was not kind, but she moved, step by step, until one day, she met someone. His name was Daniel. He came to Balagan Market looking for fabric for his company's uniforms. A large order, the kind that could change a small business. He walked past many shops, but he stopped at Ada's shop. How much for this material? He asked. Ada quoted her price. It was a fair and honest price. Daniel looked at her carefully. He looked at her face, like he was seeing something others missed. You run this business alone? He asked. Yes, sir. You're very young to be this serious. Ada smiled a small smile. Life doesn't give you a choice about when to be serious. Something in her voice caught his attention. A strength built from suffering. He gave her the contract. A big one. Enough to pay her rent for 6 months. But Daniel didn't stop there. He kept coming back. Not just for business, but to talk and ask questions. Why aren't you in school? He asked one day. Ada looked down. That ship has sailed. Ships can turn around, Daniel said quietly. Over months, Daniel became different. Not like the others. He did not ask her to be his girlfriend. Did not pressure her. Did not make promises he wouldn't keep. He simply watched and understood. Ada was careful at first. Pain teaches you that. She did not open up easily. Did not trust quickly. But Daniel was patient. You don't have to pretend with me, he told her one day after studying her. I can see you're carrying something heavy. You don't have to tell me what it is. But you also don't have to carry it alone. Simple words, but they touched something deep. Slowly, Ada told him about Clement, about the years of sacrifice, about the rejection in that parking lot. Daniel listened without judgment or pity, just understanding. You gave up your dreams once, he said when she finished. Will you give them up again? Ada looked down, because truth can be uncomfortable. I don't even know where to start, she admitted. I'm too old now. I don't have money for school. Daniel smiled. A calm, steady smile. About money, don't worry. I will sponsor you. Ada looked up quickly, surprised, suspicious even. She asked why Daniel would do that. Daniel's answer was simple. He answered and said because she was worth it. Those words, they healed something. Something Clement had broken. And slowly, Ada said yes. School was not easy. Not at her age. Not with her past. She enrolled in a part-time program at Lagos State University while still running her shop. Early morning classes, late night studying. The other students were younger, fresher. But Ada pushed, and Daniel stood by her. Years passed again, and Ada graduated with a degree in business administration. Not just graduated. She graduated with honors. And Daniel was proud of her. What Ada did not fully understand was who Daniel truly was. Because Daniel was not just a kind man. He was powerful. Owner of Meridian Industries, one of the largest import and manufacturing companies in Lagos. A man whose name carried weight in boardrooms across Victoria Island. But he never used it to impress her. Instead, he invested in her. After graduation, Daniel brought Ada into his company. Started her as a manager. Trained and mentored her. He showed her how business really worked at the highest levels. Ada absorbed everything like a sponge. All those years in the market had taught her negotiation, taught her people. Now she was learning structure, strategy, and leadership, and she was brilliant at it. One evening, after 3 years of working together, Daniel called her to his office. "Ada," he said, "it's time." She frowned slightly. "Time for what?" He smiled. "For you to step forward. I'm making you managing director of Meridian Industries." Ada froze. "Sir, I'm not ready for." "You are," he said firmly. "You have the heart. And now you have the knowledge. This company needs someone who understands both struggle and success. And that's you." Ada's eyes filled with tears. But this time, they were not from pain. They were from becoming. And just like that, the girl who was once called not worth it became something else. A leader. But life was not done yet. Because the past has a way of returning. The day came for Ada to be introduced as the new managing director. A big meeting at the company's head office in Victoria Island. All staff, all executives, all departments were present. Ada walked into that hall dressed in a sharp navy suit. Her natural hair styled beautifully, confidence in every step. Eyes followed her. Whispers filled the room. And then, she saw someone he was not expecting. It was Clement. He was sitting among the mid-level staff. Not even at the top. He was an accountant. One of many. Their eyes met. And in that moment time folded. He recognized her immediately. And at that moment, shock, regret, disbelief, all written across his face. Because the woman standing before him was not the one he left in that parking lot. Ada paused briefly. Just a moment. Then she continued walking. She reached the front, turned, faced the room. "Good morning," she said, her voice steady and clear. "My name is Ada Okafor, and I will be leading this company as your new managing director." Applause filled the room, but Clement could not clap. His hands felt too heavy, because life had turned. After the meeting, he approached her slowly and carefully. "Ada," he said. Ada turned, looked at him. Her face was calm. There was no traces of anger or pain, just calm. "I didn't know you were," he started. "I made a mistake. Terrible mistake. Can we talk? Please?" She raised her hand slightly, not to insult, but to stop. "I know," she said. Then she stepped closer. "Just enough. You once said I was not worth the life you were going into," she continued. Clement lowered his eyes. Ada's voice remained soft, but firm. "You were right." He looked up quickly, confused. "I was not your level then," she said, and then paused for a moment before she told him she was now far beyond his level. The words settled deeply, not as revenge but as the truth. She stepped back and turned. She walked away, and this time she did not look back. If the story moved you, if it taught you about resilience and self-worth, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel right now. Share this video with someone who's rebuilding after heartbreak. Drop a comment and tell me, what's the most powerful lesson from Ada's story? Thank you for watching. Remember, the person who rejects you is making room for your transformation. Never beg someone to see your worth. And never let someone's rejection define your future. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next story.